Hello, everyone, and welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on the time of the way you're watching our video. Hope all systems are go and you're doing just fine. Remember, we're in lesson 2.2 on page 16. Of course, this is part 2 of lesson 2.2. So, page 16, grammar, tag questions. So, let's see what tag questions are, how you can form them and use them in your everyday speech. Okay, well, everyone, check out the examples here. The first one, Jack can come, can't he? Fred can't come, can he? Well, everyone, we call can't he and can he here at the end of these two statements tag questions. Okay, so what is a tag question? A tag question is a question added at the end of a sentence. So we have them at the end of these sentences. Speakers use tag questions mainly to make sure their information is correct or to seek agreement when they're looking for agreement. Well, remember, when our statement is positive, the tag must be negative, and vice versa, just the opposite. When the statement is negative, the tag must be positive. Check out these examples, everyone. Mary is here, isn't she? Then the person says, yes, she is. Or you like tea, don't you? Like is present simple, so the tag is don't you. They have left, haven't they? Have, and so have left is positive, so the tag must be negative. And some negative examples. Mary isn't here, is she? Negative, positive tag. You don't like tea, do you? They haven't left, have they? All right, some, let's say, points about tags. So we say this or that is your book. The tag for this and that, everyone, should be it. We say, isn't it? These or those are yours, aren't they? For there is a meeting tonight, isn't there? Next one, everything is okay, isn't it? So the tag for everything is it. We use the pronoun it. Everyone took the test, didn't they? So everyone becomes they. Nothing is wrong. Everyone, nothing is negative. So nothing is wrong, is it? Or nobody called on the phone, did they? Nobody becomes they. You've never been there. You've never. You see, never is negative, so you've never been there, have you? I'm supposed to be here. Am I not? So, am I not, as it says here, is formal English. And I'm supposed to be here, aren't I? Aren't I is common in spoken English. Hope it was easy, everyone. Okay, let me see. Yes, here we are. Uh, by the way, for example, for we say nice day, everyone. The tag should be isn't it? So nice day, isn't it? Or for imperatives, uh, come in, the tag is won't you? Or give me a hand, will you? Or open a window, would you? Or don't forget, will you? For let's, we use shall we, everyone. For example, let's have a party, shall we? Or there's something wrong, isn't there? Or nothing can happen. All right, so page 16, grammar, tag questions. Exercise 6A. Complete questions 1 through 6, then listen again to check. Remember, we had these sentences in the listening activity here in 5A. So, let's see. Number 1, round windows are stronger. Remember, everyone, the sentence is positive, which means the tag should be negative. So, aren't they? Number 2, no, it's not that many. It is not, which it should be is it here. 3, it depends whose head. Depends, so the tag doesn't it. Number 4, nothing happens. Nothing is negative, so and happens is present simple. The tag does it. Number 5, they got old. Got, simple past, and the sentence is positive. Didn't they? Number 6, John Lennon went off with Yoko Ono. Went, simple past and positive. Didn't he? By the way, go out with someone means go away with someone. They just ran away. They went away with each other. 6B. Underline the correct alternative to complete the rules. Check out the rules, everyone. Rules. Number 1. Use question tags to confirm information. So to check information, to seek for agreement, we use question tags. Number 2, to form a question tag, repeat the auxiliary verb. You know, am, is, are, was, were, do, does, did, have, has, had. For example, use do or does for what? For the present. Use will or won't for the future. Number 3. After the auxiliary verb, use a pronoun. A pronoun. For example, he, she, it, they. This is very important, everyone. Remember, we don't say, for example, the students, the teacher, or the man, or Ali, or Lucy, whatever. We say he, she, we, I. We always use a pronoun. Number 4, if the sentence is positive, the question tag is negative. So positive statement, negative tag, and just the opposite. Number 5, if the sentence is negative, the question tag is positive. All right, crystal clear. I hope everyone, so easy, just a little practice and that's it. Now, everyone, on page 34, we've got language bank. Let me see. Okay, yes, I mean here. That's it. All right, 2.2, question tags. Let's see. To make question tags, add auxiliary verb. Am, is, are, was, were, do, does, did, have, has, will, should, may, might, etc. plus pronoun I, you, he, she, it, we, you, they at the end of the question. For a positive sentence, use a negative tag. You play tennis, don't you? So, you play is positive, the tag must be negative. For a negative sentence, use a positive tag. They weren't here, were they? Weren't is negative, tag must be positive. Use contractions in the tag. Use short forms in the tag, everyone. Not the full verb. He's nice, isn't he? Not this one. So use contractions, use pronouns. Two important parts. Let's say keys in question tags. Use a comma before the question tag and a question mark after it. So check out this, for example. You play tennis, we have a comma, then don't you, we use a question mark. So, simple present. You're 20, aren't you? She doesn't swim, does she? Simple present. Simple past. They came back, didn't they? You didn't see Tim, did you? Simple past. Present perfect. Have, has plus PP. You've lost it, haven't you? He hasn't seen us, has he? And future. I'll be back by 10 o'clock, won't I? Won't I? You won't lose, will you? And use question tags to check information that you think is true. So remember, everyone, we use question tags to check information. Also, use question tags to sound less direct, a way to sound polite. So everyone, question tags are formal and they help us sound more polite. And this part is about the intonation in question tags. Remember, we have two types of intonation. We have falling intonation and rising intonation. So falling and rising. By the way, by intonation, we say we mean the rising and falling of our voice. So rising and falling. If we are sure of the information, the intonation falls on the question tag. So, in other words, if we are not asking a real question, we use falling information. You're coming tomorrow, aren't you? We know the answer, we know the person is coming, so we use falling intonation. We expect the answer yes. If we are really not sure, the intonation rises on the question tag. So it means this is a real question. She's from Europe, isn't she? I'm not sure, so I'm asking a real question because I used rising intonation. Now, let's check the exercises, everyone. On page 35. Okay. Exercise 1. Match 1 through 8 with A through H to make tag questions. Number 1. Clive was an engineer. Was. So the tag G. Wasn't he? Number 2. You're from Ethiopia. You are from. The tag D. Aren't you? Number 3. Shania isn't an actress. The tag E. Is she? Number 4. They haven't been here before. They haven't. The tag have they? Number 5. He'll be home soon. He will be home soon. So the tag won't he? Number 6. You work here. Work, simple present. The tag H. Don't you? Number 7. She hasn't met you. Hasn't met. The tag C. Has she? Number 8. They won't finish on time. They won't finish. The tag F. Will they? So they won't, will they? And exercise 2. Find and correct the mistakes. There is one mistake in each question. So number 1, you weren't happy. You see, weren't is negative, which means the tag must be positive. Were you? Number 2, it'll probably rain. It will rain, won't it? Number 3, she researched her roots. Researched, simple past. And remember, we use a subject pronoun here, didn't she? Number 4, they always ask tricky questions, difficult questions. They always ask, don't they? Don't they? Auxiliary plus a pronoun. I take after my dad. Take after means look like, resemble, be similar. Simple present. Don't I? Number 6. You've met Kevin's fiancée. Fiancée, everyone, means the woman you're going to get married. Fiancée with double E at the end. So you have met, haven't you? Remember, we always use contractions, short forms in tag questions. Number 7, I put my foot in it yesterday. I put my foot, everyone, means I put my foot in my mouth, which means I did something embarrassing. So I put, simple past, didn't I? Number 8, my mentor will give me a hand, will help me, will lend me a hand. So will, won't he? Number 9, you had a lot on your mind. You had, simple past, didn't you? Number 10, Phil and Luke are on vacation. Aren't they? Remember? Well, back to page 16, please, everyone. Page 16. Practice. Exercise 7. Look at the statements below and complete the question tags. Number 1. You're Italian, aren't you? Positive, negative. You aren't a doctor. Are you? Negative, positive tag. 3. You don't smoke. So the tag you don't is negative. The tag should be do you. 4. You play a musical instrument. The guitar, the violin, the piano. You play. Simple present. The tag don't you. Number 5. You didn't know any of the other students before. You didn't know. Simple past and negative. Did you? Number 6. Our teacher hasn't taught you before. Hasn't taught. So present perfect and negative. Has she? Number 7. You'll be here tomorrow. You will be. So the tag won't you. Number 8. This is your pen. Remember everyone, this and that becomes it in tag. So this is your pen, isn't it? Number 9. You went to bed late last night. You went, simple past, didn't you? Number 10. You've traveled a lot. You've traveled a lot. Have you? Sorry, of course, because this is positive, it needs to be haven't you. So sorry. 11. You were good at sports when you were a child. You were, simple past and positive, so weren't you? 12. It wasn't your birthday recently. It wasn't. Was it? Alright, now page 17, everyone, page 17, exercise 8A. Listening 2.3. Listen to two questions. Notice how the intonation goes down when the speaker is sure of the answer. Notice how the intonation goes up when the speaker is not sure. Well, remember what intonation is. Intonation means the rising and falling of our voice. So when our voice goes up or just comes down. Everyone, we have a rising intonation and falling intonation. In tag questions, if we are sure of the answer, if we're not asking a real question, we use falling intonation. For example, nice day, isn't it? I'm not asking a real question. Yes. Or I know, for example, someone is a student. I say, you're a student, aren't you? I'm not asking a question, a real question. So that is why I use falling intonation. On the other hand, however, if I'm not sure about the answer and I really mean it, that is, I'm asking a real question, I use rising intonation. For example, you aren't a doctor, are you? Or the meeting is on Monday, isn't it? So, falling intonation means I'm not asking a question. Rising intonation means I'm asking a real question. Okay, now let's take a listen. 2.3.
2.3.
That's it.
Listen to two questions. Notice how the intonation goes down when the speaker is sure of the answer. Notice how the intonation goes up when the speaker is not sure. 1.
You're Italian, aren't you?
2.
You aren't a doctor, are you?
Okay, so rising and falling intonation. Thank you. 8B, listening 2.4. Listen to the questions in exercise 7. Yes, these statements, everyone, the statements here. So, listen to the statements, to the questions in exercise 7. Which answers is the speaker sure about? Listen and repeat the questions using the same intonation. Now, everyone, on page 16, look at the statements here, the 12 statements, all right, and take a listen. Well, so 2.4.
2.4. Listen to the questions in exercise 7. Which answers is the speaker sure about? Listen and repeat the questions using the same intonation. 1.
You're Italian.
So here, everyone, sorry, yes, The speaker was sure, so he didn't ask a real question. Falling intonation.
You aren't a doctor, are you?
Okay, so rising intonation, which means the speaker is asking a real question.
3. You don't smoke, do you?
Rising, a real question.
4. You play a musical instrument, don't you?
Falling, not asking a real question.
5. You didn't know any of the other students before, did you?
Okay, did you? Falling.
6. Our teacher hasn't taught you before, has she?
Has she?
7. You'll be here tomorrow, won't you?
Won't you? You see falling, falling.
8. This is your pen, isn't it?
Again, falling.
9. You went to bed late last night, didn't you?
Falling.
10. You've traveled a lot, haven't you?
Falling.
11.
You were good at sports when you were a child, weren't you?
Rising.
12.
It wasn't your birthday recently, was it?
And rising, a real question. Okay. All right. Well, exercise 8C. Work in pairs. Choose 6 questions to ask your partner. Make sure your intonation is correct in the tag questions, in question tags. For example, you play a guitar, don't you? Yes, I do. I play bass in a band. Bass, everyone, means a bass guitar, a kind of guitar. For example, you live here, don't you? Or you've been studying English for 3 years, haven't you? Or you don't know him, do you? Or you were absent last session, weren't you? You see, you can ask different questions. Vocabulary plus. Word building. Adjectives. 9A. Read the text below. How was the ice cream cone invented? Take a listen. For just a minute, let me just zoom in a little bit. Okay, yes. Well, for over 100 years, ice cream was sold mainly in dishes. Then one day, a creative ice cream seller turned a hopeless situation into a profitable one. In 1904, at a festival, he ran out of spoons and dishes. He bought some wafers from a vendor next to him and put the ice cream into them. The customers loved them and the idea spread quickly. The world has been thankful ever since. So, for over 100 years, ice cream was sold mainly in dishes, mostly in dishes, just plates. Then one day, a creative ice cream seller, creative, remember create, creator, creation, creative. Creative means inventive, having new ideas. Turned a hopeless, desperate situation into a profitable one, profitable situation. Profitable, everyone, when something is profitable, it makes you money, it brings you money. The opposite is unprofitable. So profitable means you make a profit, unprofitable means you make a loss. In 1904, at a festival, he ran out of spoons and dishes. Run out of means finish. He bought some wafers from a vendor next to him. Wafer, something like this, thin biscuit, wafers from a vendor. Vendor means seller, a street seller, for example, next to him, and put the ice cream into them, into wafers. The customers loved them, loved the wafers, and the idea spread quickly. So when the idea spreads, people come to know about it, it becomes known and popular. The world has been thankful ever since. The world has been grateful since that time. Well, exercise 9B. Underline 4 adjectives in the text and add them to the word web below. Can you think of other examples of adjectives that fit these patterns? So we have a word web here, we have adjectives. By the way, you see these, everyone, we call them suffixes. Suffixes. In English, we have suffixes and prefixes. Let me just give you an example. Take the word unhappiness, for example. Everyone, unhappiness, unhappy and ness. Okay? Well, un is a prefix. We add it to the beginning of the word, and ness is a suffix which comes at the end of the word. So unhappiness. Happy is the root, un is a prefix, and ness is a suffix. Okay. Now, why? Messy and hairy. Messy means untidy, not clean, everyone. Messy, opposite of tidy. Hairy means full of hair. For example, a hairy chest. By the way, it has another meaning. It means dangerous, frightening. For example, a hairy road. Next one, responsible, lovable. Responsible, lovable means friendly and attractive. We have profitable, unprofitable. We have full, painful, opposite of painless. Yeah, it aches, it gives pain. We have thankful. Thankful means grateful. And we have peaceful. Peaceful. Next, explosive. Explode and explosion and explosive. Explosive means likely to explode. We have effective. Effective means when something is effective, it works well. Effective. Then we have creative. Creative means inventive, having new ideas. Next we have homeless, without home. Useless, opposite of useful. And hopeless, without hope. And poetic. Poetic means related to poetry. Poetic. And biological. Biology and biological. There's a tip here. Use L1. What is L1? L1 is your first language, mother tongue, Turkish for us. Some suffixes in your L1 might have similar meanings to suffixes in English. For example, the Italian IVO or E means the same as the English EV. Can you think of any examples from your language? So if you're interested, you can just translate the words into your L1, your mother tongue. Exercise 10. Complete the text. Add suffixes to the words in parentheses. The city of Detroit in the US, Detroit, USA, was famous for its valuable car industry in the early days. The city was responsible for the majority of cars in the US, for the most of cars in the US. And Detroit's streets were full of cars. They were crowded. A police officer called William Potts saw that the organization of the traffic was hopeless, desperate, and the traffic was very slow. So there was heavy traffic. So in 1920, he developed an effective system of lights. He came up with an idea. It was very effective to regulate the flow of cars. To regulate means to control something by setting rules, everyone. He used the same colors as the railway system and put the lights in a tower. Tower is a kind of tall structure, a post, for example, so that it would be easy for drivers to see them even on rainy days. Potts's system was very successful. When other countries realized how useful it was, the system spread all over the world. Well, exercise 11A. Complete the words by adding suffixes. Remember, we discussed the suffixes. We had some in exercise 9B. Find someone who has a peaceful hobby. Find someone who is hopeless at math. Find someone who is a good, careful driver. Number 4, find someone who is quite messy at home. Find someone who thinks he or she is quite creative. And find someone who is quite knowledgeable about politics. Knowledgeable, everyone, means well informed, having a lot of information, knowledge about something. Well, exercise 11B. Working groups ask and answer questions about the information about. So find someone who has a peaceful hobby. Peaceful hobby. I've got a friend who's into horse riding, so it can be a peaceful hobby. Find someone who is hopeless at math. Unfortunately, nowadays, most of the students are hopeless at math. It is too difficult for them. They can't make heads or tails of it. It is difficult to understand. Find someone who is a good and careful driver. Well, not to pat myself on the back, I think I'm a careful driver. I try to follow the traffic rules. Number 4, find someone who is quite messy at home. Well, my beloved son is quite messy. We just keep telling him to pick up his things, to organize, to tidy up his room. Yeah, I think he's just going through a stage. Number 5, find someone who thinks he or she is quite creative. Yeah, again, my son, although he's pretty messy, he's quite creative. He has these great ideas. He's very good at making things, coming up with cool ideas. And find someone who is quite knowledgeable about politics. To be honest, I have no idea. I don't know anyone who is knowledgeable, well informed about politics. All right, and the last part on page 42, there is a vocabulary bank, everyone. So go to page 42, the vocabulary bank. Yes, here. Word building, noun, suffixes. 1a. Look at the table which shows 6 different suffixes used to form nouns from verbs and adjectives. So, everyone, here you can see 6 different suffixes. Yeah, we add them to nouns or we add them to verbs and adjectives to come up with nouns. Now, let me read out the words. Take a listen, please. Education, education. Relaxation, relaxation. Imagination, imagination. Immigration, immigration. Pollution, pollution. Instruction, instruction. Depression, depression. Competition, competition. Entertainment, entertainment. Improvement, improvement. Employment, employment. Agreement, agreement. Running. Well, everyone, don't say running. No, this is wrong. Running, running. Smoking, smoking. Laughing, laughing. Eating, eating. Weakness, weakness. Loneliness, loneliness. Happiness, happiness. Kindness. Creativity, creativity. Stupidity, stupidity. Sensitivity, sensitivity. Responsibility, responsibility. Well, education comes from the verb educate. We educate children. Relax, relaxation. Imagine, imagination. Emigrate, emigrate, emigration. Everyone, emigrate means to come into a country, to live there permanently, forever. For example, many Afghans have immigrated to our country. Pollution, pollution. There is a lot of pollution in big cities. Instruct, instruction. Instruct means teach. Depress. To depress someone means to make them sad. Depress, depression. Competition, compete. We compete in matches. Competition. Entertain, entertainment. We amuse, we entertain people. Improve, improvement. Boost, enhance, make better. Employ, employment. We employ, we hire someone, we recruit them. Opposite of fire, axe. Agree, agreement. Running, smoking, laughing, eating. Weak, weakness. Lonely, loneliness. Lonely means happy because you are alone, you have no friends. Happy, happiness. Kind, kindness. Create, creative, and creativity, being creative. stupid, stupidity, being stupid, sensitive, some people are sensitive, and sensitivity, responsible and responsibility. 1b. Cover the table and complete sentences 1 through 10 with the correct form of the verbs, adjectives, and parentheses. Number 1. I think a bit of competition in schools is a good thing. Competition. Noun form. Number 2. There has been a great improvement in his work recently, lately. 3. Dealing with problem clients is not my responsibility. Client means customer. Problem. Problem client means clients whose behavior cause problems. We have problem students, problem children. Number 4, loneliness is one of the worst aspects of getting old, aging. Yeah, it sure is. 5, he suffers from depression. You know, we suffer from an illness. 6, try to use your imagination. Imagine, imagination. 7, I couldn't believe my own stupidity. It was so stupid of me. Number 8, there is live, adjective, there is live entertainment from 8 p.m. 9, I was amazed by his kindness. And 10, I didn't hear the last instruction. Well, this is it, everyone. Hope you've enjoyed our program. Remember to rewatch the videos as many times as possible. You know, the more practice you get, the better your English will be. Practice makes perfect, by the way. Well, this is Mr. Mazlumi, your teacher from CLI, hoping and wishing you all the success possible. Until next time.